Hi, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing, here today on Conscious Business Zone with Denise Chadwick. Hi, Denise.
Hi.
So I'm so excited that we were able to reschedule. We had planned to do this in January, and so I've been patiently waiting to talk with you, and I'm so excited. So everyone, so you know a little bit about Denise. She's a wayshower, a code keeper, a key holder, an earth grid activator, a crystalline grid connector, a voice alchemist, and that's how I started following you because oh my gosh, it's incredible. Light language speaker and writer, energy healer, Reiki Master-Teacher, crystal and sound healer who works with a golden ray. She transmits golden or diamond light, whale, galactic, Magdalene, Albion, Grail, and crystal light and source code frequencies of energy, and is aligned to the Sisterhood of the Rose. And if you're sensitive, you will really, really be blessed by getting to know Denise because her work is so activating for love. It's pure love. So Denise, how did you get started with this? Did you have an experience that activated all this, or were you always doing light language and being aware?
Good question. I think, as with a lot of us, there's a bit of a process. There's certain points where you have a bit of an awakening, and then you maybe, close off a little bit again. So, um, for me, I was really quite scientific in the way that I viewed the world.
Okay.
From being 18, I went into nursing. So I was a nurse for 20 years. Um, and within that became really quite left-brained and didn't believe in energy. For me, the body, I looked at the body in terms of the biomedical model of the body, not
Right.
at all in terms of energy. I really didn't believe in, acupuncture, anything really along those lines. Um, so in the 90s, reading the Celestine prophecy sowed some seeds for me. That
Uh-huh.
was definitely something that kind of was like, I could feel the truth in there, but I still wasn't quite ready to let go of my model of the universe, really.
Uh-huh.
And then the biggest the biggest wake up was receiving a Reiki treatment from a friend.
Oh, okay.
And she was another nurse. She worked in A&E, and we'd been friends for a long time. And I was round her house having dinner, and she had done her level 1 and wanted somebody to practice on.
Uh-huh.
So, all I had to do was lie there for an hour. So I was like, okay. Um, and it was a really, really profound experience. As you know, most people who receive Reiki have that experience. So I could feel the energy. I could, without doubt, feel the energy, particularly at that time around my throat. It felt like her hands were on fire, and she
Oh,
wasn't
you're
even touching my
activating.
throat. And I felt better after the treatment than I'd done in years. That was the biggest thing. Um, so that was December 2000, and I bought myself for Christmas a book on Reiki.
Uh-huh.
And I started doing it on myself. According to the positions in the book, I started, placing my hands on the body, and
Uh-huh.
I could feel something. But it was May the following year that I did my level 1. And at the time, I didn't feel I had time to do a 2-day course, and most people that taught Reiki did it over 2 days, but this one
Right.
particular man did it over one. So I thought, yes, I can take one day out of my busy schedule because I was a senior nurse at this time,
Wow.
um, working, in really quite a stressful
Right.
environment.
Very
So I did my level 1, and then just went on a mission to heal the world. Basically, it was kind of like,
activating.
yeah, so activating. I could feel the energy. I started getting into crystals, um, and actually introduced Reiki to the hospital where I worked. So this is a big, old 250-year-old hospital.
Okay.
Um, So you can imagine the density of the energy in there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
unbeknownst to me, I think I've always been working with energy and clearing space as well,
I
but
see.
not knowing how to do it. So I think that was part of the stuff that was going on for me as well. It was like I was picking up so much energy from the hospital. So my Reiki master and myself introduced Reiki to the hospital, and we
Fantastic.
invited anybody who wished to learn it to come and learn it with us. And before I left to go to Australia, I think we'd attuned, I think it was 189 people in the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And that was, you know, it was nurses, there was a couple of doctors, mainly people that I worked with because they could see the difference in me.
Mm-hmm.
Admin staff, lots of clerical staff, catering staff, some dietitians, physios, occupational therapists. So it was really quite across the board. And to bring that light, that energy into that dark, that dark hospital really was amazing. And I really want to honour my Reiki master, Jacqueline Williams, because she'd actually been doing Reiki voluntarily in the women's hospital next door for at least a year before this. And it was her vision to get Reiki in the hospitals. And she became sick, so I kind of took over and became a Reiki master myself, and I took over the teaching. So it was a really amazing experience, and we were doing it on patients as well and staff, with really good results. And it was my questioning mind. My mind is quite scientific. I like to, know why. And I like to have things proved, but instead of it being proved by science, it was being proved by the patients themselves, who
Wow.
all felt better after the experience.
Well, it's
And I'm
pure
not saying
love.
that,
You're
yeah,
giving them love, right?
yeah, and I'm not saying necessarily that symptoms were improved. Symptoms were improved. I'm not saying that their physical condition, there was any reversal in that. My patients were dialysis patients whose
Oh,
kidneys had failed. So whilst I'm still open to the fact that can change, and even people, I'm open to the concept of miracles now, which aren't really miracles,
right,
because so many people are experiencing them, and that's putting it in the collective field.
right,
So once one person's done it and shifted some condition within their body, then it's in the collective field, and it's kind of anchoring that energy. So it's easier for other people then in the future to
right,
also do that.
right.
So it was a huge 360 turnaround for me, but it's been an amazing experience. And actually remodeling the model I had of the universe has
Right.
been really easy. So then I went to Australia and lived in Byron Bay for 12 years as well. And that's when I stopped nursing. I intended to nurse, but at the time I was living in a backpackers, actually in a tent.
Oh,
Um,
wow, really?
yeah, gardening and gardening to start with for my accommodation, and then I started doing meditations for my accommodation, and then I started doing treatments there. And I lived in a tent with no keys, no responsibilities,
Oh,
in a
wonderful.
very happy place and joyful place, which was just such a contrast from what I've been used to. Um, so that was an amazing 12 years, and lots of things happened while I was in Australia as well. So light language came into my awareness. Um, the spoken light language, that came into my awareness relatively early there, because Byron's a very progressive place in terms of energy. But actually, I was doing written codes before I realised. And I felt that it might have been a new stream of Reiki that was coming through.
Oh, interesting.
Because as soon as I started doing treatments at the Arts Factory, my hands wanted to do different things, and symbols would kind of come through, and I would do different, just following my inner guidance. Really, I would do lots of different things, and now I realised that was the light language symbols that were actually coming through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and even Reiki symbols really are light language. And for a lot of people, receiving a Reiki attunement, it just opens everything up.
Right.
So even if people are not going to be a Reiki practitioner, actually receiving that attunement opens you up so that you can channel the energy, but it opens you up to ascension really as well. It's a really powerful ascension tool. And so many people, after receiving a treatment from me or an attunement, it's just life-changing. And over the 12 years that I worked at the Arts Factory Backpackers in Byron Bay, I treated, I've no idea how many, but thousands of people. And a lot of the staff and, you know, because there were quite a few people that lived there as well, and they were quite skeptical about it, understandably, because,
Yeah.
you know, so was I. But everyone that would come out of a treatment would be kind of like, whoa, you know, a bit stunned. And nobody came out and said, oh, that was rubbish, I didn't feel anything. Like, nobody. Actually, there were a couple, but one man talked all the way through it. He didn't relax
But
at all.
he wasn't ready.
And someone else as well, just she didn't really feel very much during the treatment, but she cried for 3 days afterwards. So yeah, I
So
think there was
something
something going.
happened.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn you up a little bit because I can't hear you very well. Okay, I'm going to unplug my phone because I just felt my phone and it was quite hot.
Okay.
So if it unless it starts to go down, I'll keep it unplugged.
Okay.
Yes, so the light language started coming through in treatments, and also I learnt to hula hoop while I was there. My creativity just really kicked in, and having been a nurse for so long, I had no creativity. It's like that energy was fully, it was either channeled into my treatments or it just disappeared because of the nature of the work, you
Right,
know?
right. You were co-creating, but you weren't aware of it, probably.
Yeah. So my creativity started coming through in different ways. And when I learnt to hula hoop, I'd kind of like dance with it, and I was doing things with my hands, and I was like, oh, what's this? And again, just feeling that they were kind of like symbols, really.
That's so cool. I have a hula hoop in my office.
Oh, do you? I
An
love.
exercise one.
Yeah.
And I almost did it before we went on just to get the.
It's such a divine feminine thing,
I
having
love it.
a circle around you. And, you know, you start to, it massages your body, it massages your back, but you learn to really tune into your body in terms of, oh, if I move just a little bit like this, the hoop goes up or it goes down.
Right.
How do I move my hoop up here? Oh, by going like this. So I really love to hula hoop, and I kind of have one here, but it's not, it's a weird one. It's kind of waved inside. I don't know
That's
if
what
that's
mine is.
right.
It's for
Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah.
And mine's a 5-pound one, and I can keep it going. It's a great way to watch videos when you need to watch a video and you don't need to really write anything down.
Yeah.
So you can do that while you're watching. So yeah, I really like it.
It's a real meditation as
Yeah.
well. But I kind of, and as I say, I've only got that one, and it's quite slow, so I find it a bit frustrating.
It's an exercise.
Yeah, it is. It's really good exercise. So after coming, I'm just thinking if I've missed anything along this process. So I stayed in Australia for 12 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Did you get married, or so it wasn't for a guy? Because one of the people I tagged on our conversation did go to she went to Australia and actually had an amazing experience, but she got married. So that was part of why she was there for so long. Yeah. And she's American.
Byron Bay's really strong energy as well. It's on the Michael line that you know is the same line that goes through Glastonbury as well. And it's as you know, it's one of the big ley lines. So it's very strong energy there, and lots of people have a bit of an awakening there as well. The veil can be quite thin, but it's also a place of dark shadow as well. You know, a lot of the places where the light shines so brightly, there's also dark shadow. So it's a bit of a mixed energy. And by the time I left, my energy wasn't sitting right in there. I could
Oh.
feel that it was time to go. So I went to New Zealand first, and that was quite a lesson in trust, because I didn't have that much money. And I wasn't really quite sure where I was going or what I was doing there. But again, it was just a pull to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very held and supported. And I'm
Oh.
so grateful for women, really. There was one man that put me up there, but it was mainly women that kind of held me while I was there, which was an amazing experience. And then felt the nudge to come back to England. Thinking that I might just come back for a while and go back to New Zealand, but it's not really worked out that way. It feels right still to be here.
Uh-huh.
And since I've been here, I've done a lot of work on the land. So the light language activations that I do, there's different. Some of them are activations on the Earth grid,
Right.
and that's been a processing of upgrading the Earth energy grid and kind of unraveling the distorted matrix, like the inverted matrix that's been in place,
Uh-huh.
and connecting the pure original Earth grids to these new energy lines, and
Okay.
creating these new Earth templates, which are kind of, they are building new Earth, really. The
Right.
physical comes from the energy. So a lot of us around the world have been putting the energy in place for many, many years.
Right.
And it's so interesting that so many of us are starting to come together now.
Right. Right.
Well.
That's the internet is really, and Facebook
Yeah.
and doing shows like this.
Yeah.
It people are willing to come out. I mean, there's a lot of past life work
Yeah.
that cause people to hide.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
feel quite alone. But actually,
Yeah.
maybe that was part of the work, doing the inner work.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So the 8-8 gateway in 2015, and 2015, 5 and 2 and 1 adds up to 8
Uh-huh.
as well. So
Uh-huh.
that was a significant 888 gateway. And that night, I was just about to go to sleep, and I was sitting on the edge of my bed, and my guidance was, and it was very, very strong, we want you to stand up. I'm like, I want to go to bed, really? And I was guided to put my hand up like this in a way that I've never done before, my left hand. And with the right hand, I was tapping these new frequencies into my body.
Oh, wow.
And from that point, lots of things changed. And I started doing these full body light language activations. And with these, it's usually bringing in new frequencies for the earth.
Okay.
And I felt very connected to whale energy as well when I was doing it. Byron's a place that the whales, from April to October, they're present. They go north, they have their calves, and then they come down. And because the bay is like a horseshoe, they come in really close to shore with the calves as well.
Oh.
Which is just beautiful. And I felt a very strong telepathic connection with them as well. And I felt their presence activating me within these activations.
Yeah.
And then I was activating their calves as well, which was interesting. That they were always in front of me. It's a big bay, and you can see them quite easily. You can see the glint of the light on the fin, and
Uh-huh.
my eyes are very tuned into seeing them. And I'd look to the left and I'd look to the right, but they were just in front of me,
Wow.
around, and
They,
so that
they do your frequency.
yeah, absolutely. So the Earth activation started around that time, or kind of the next year. In 2016, they really came in strong.
Uh-huh.
And after a few months of doing them, because I can feel the energy that I'm connecting with, and I can feel that it's strong light. By now I know the difference between very, very strong high frequency energy and not.
Right.
But I hadn't really inquired who I was working with, and one day I did. I was like, well, who are who am I working with here? And what I was given was the Syrian High Council.
Oh, okay.
And I was kind of like, whoa, because that just, I was really quite humbled by that. Didn't really know what it meant. So there is definitely a galactic connection with these activations as well. And so since I've been back in England, at first I did a lot of work in the old churches here that are very, very old. Like a lot of them are about 1,000 years old.
Right.
And they're built on the original pagan sites.
The
They're
pagan.
built on the strong energy spots.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously there's been a lot of distorted energy going into the churches, and particularly around the divine feminine energy.
Right.
So a lot of the work I was doing was bringing in the divine feminine energy. But I found that I was being called to activate, and this is where it gets a bit more out there as well. Does it? It's all out there, really.
I'm all ears.
I was called to activate dragons, and I found that dragons were kind of sleeping beneath in the land beneath the churches, and sometimes they looked like they were chained or not caged as well. So I would kind of go in and set them free. And I don't know how much of that is symbolic, it is figurative, and how much is literal. But my feeling is that they've been dormant, they've been sleeping until our energy was of such a frequency. And not only that, but our hearts were activated, so that it's kind of time again for us to connect with the dragons and work with them. And my feeling is that anybody who does work on the land is working with dragons, because that's their speciality. I've worked with angels, archangels, ascended masters, since I started doing Reiki. It was always ascended masters or angels that I would connect with, really. I never really connected with spirit guides. I kind of always felt to go higher. And you can call on angels to do that kind of work, but it's not really their speciality. It's more the elemental realm, and it's particularly the dragon realm, because my feeling is that they put the original lines in. This is their speciality. So dragons are becoming a thing now. They're becoming so much more known to people. A lot of people are dreaming of them. It used to be angels, but now it seems to be dragons that people are working with. And they've received we've received a very distorted view of them.
Just like aliens, we've received the way that the media, George and the Dragon, it was to kill the dragon, and all of the fairy tales. And so much of that story is fighting anyway. I mean, when you look at the heritage of the Western civilization, almost all of the stories are good against evil. And anything you fight, whatever you resist persists. So, Star Wars, even if you want to take it to now.
So now that we are more in our heart space, and our collective frequency is higher, and sometimes it doesn't seem that way, but I do believe that our frequency is higher, and there are many people raising everyone else's energy levels through doing their own work and raising their own frequency. So I do believe that humanity on the whole has definitely raised its frequency. So the dragons are there, they're loyal protectors. They're very much in their heart space. But they kind of, they don't suffer fools gladly either. There is a fierceness to them. But there's so much love. They're a bit like, the energy of dogs, really. I felt for a while that dogs almost have been holding that dragon energy for the dragons.
That's interesting. Unconditional love, the joy of living, acceptance, and want to play. Their existence is play. it's a dog's life, really.
Yeah. So I find them very similar, and you know, that protective element as well of a dog and a dragon is the same kind of thing. But my
Interesting.
experience of connecting with dragons is it's pure love, absolutely pure love. That's what you feel. I haven't felt the fierceness. I know it's there, but it's really just been joyful and pure love. Um,
That's great. Yeah, I
and
was
the
going to ask you about dragons because I had a reading and I was shocked about it because I know nothing. I mean, I seem to have followed a lot of the Ascended Masters work, Saint Germain, all of that, and then angels, of course, and then working with ET. But I hadn't really, I was kind of surprised. And I am seeing lots of people working with dragons now and offering that assistance. And because I think in some of the conspiracy stuff, there's Red Dragon, the Society, and the White Dragon Society. And I never even followed any of that stuff. It's, again, it's still like not my job.
yeah, yeah, same. That kind of
Yeah.
means nothing. It means nothing to me
Well, it's
either.
like, say what? Okay, well, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to share because I think that other people are probably getting curious
Yeah.
about dragon information and how they could work with them. And so you do you help people work with
Yeah,
their dragon?
yeah, yeah. It's not something I've done very much, but I feel the pull to do that a little bit more. So that's
Okay,
definitely something that I can do as well if people are
that's
interested
cool.
in that, either one-on-ones or, you know, if someone said that they were interested in that, then maybe I'd put a group thing on for that. Um, I'm really quite open to suggestions as well.
Yeah,
Um, but I do feel the nudge from the dragons. It's been dropping in as something, but the actual thing to do hasn't quite dropped in yet.
right. I
Um,
understand.
yeah,
It's
but
one of
I
these conversations where a light goes on. That's how
yeah,
it works
yeah,
usually, right?
yeah,
Well, I want to share some of your art too. So okay. So when I've watched you, you've been in just pristine, beautiful outdoor places, and you're on your phone and you're doing hands and beautiful sound. And I get shivers. I get chills watching it, and sometimes tears. I mean, sometimes it's just like you're getting a love bath when you're doing that. Is that, do you work with people that way too when you do one-on-one sessions? So it's like a Reiki combo.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I can either do simply a light I say simply a light language activation where I'm not necessarily tuning into the body, tuning into the chakras. Um, but tuning into the body and tuning into the chakras is very easy for me really because I've done it for so long.
Right,
So whether I'm in person with someone or online, I can still do that. But these days, even when I do that, it's with light language because it's so it's so powerful for clearing the body. If an energy is stuck, the light language just shifts it, and also for removing beliefs. I did study theta healing as well, so
uh-huh,
the belief kind of concept came in
yeah,
quite a long time ago. That was when I first got to Australia. That was 2004. Um, and we're often running our lives on distorted beliefs that aren't
right,
even ours half the time. They can be collective, they can be genetic, held in our
right,
DNA. So the light language also activates the DNA, and this it's really the time for this.
right,
Um, so sometimes I can feel that there's an energy stuck in the chakras. So, for example, if it was the throat, it might be fear of persecution. So you can, you know, you can shift that fear. And if I feel there's a belief there, I can instill into the body the you know, self-love. Some of us don't know what it feels like to feel self-love. We've
right,
never
right.
felt it. So you can instill the feeling of self-love or self-worth into the body
That's
so that
great.
it knows what it's aiming for, so that it's got that template in there.
Oh, perfect.
So Yeah, so it can be that I work through the body, and I do visualizations as well, and sometimes a little bit of breath work in there too.
Uh-huh.
Without the tuning in specifically to the energy system, I can do light language activations, and they can be for a particular purpose or not. They can just be what you need to step up,
Uh-huh.
to upgrade and activate your DNA, and also activate your crystalline light body. And this is what has been coming in more than anything. And I'm going
Right.
to just put that to one side just for a second while I still talk about the activations, but it's important I come back to that.
Okay.
It helps to balance, the left and right sides of our body, our masculine and feminine. It helps bring balance in there. And it connects you to that higher realm, and it's in conjunction with your higher self as well. So it's me and your higher self kind of together that are bringing the energies
Right.
in that
Well, your higher self's instructing you what
yeah,
to do, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's and you can have many of these as well. Sometimes people just want one, and then they feel the shift and are just moving in that new frequency. It does, of course, raise your frequency as well. So the crystalline aspect of it. So when I was saying before that I was doing different things with the body when I was doing Reiki on people,
Uh-huh.
what I realized once the activations started coming in really, really strongly, I was bringing in a new frequency. And everyone that received a treatment, they were backpackers and they generally weren't from there. So they left there carrying this different frequency, and they either travelled home or they travelled around the world. And when we step foot on the land, we're putting our energy signature there.
Beautiful.
So it's like they were anchoring this new frequency of energy in,
Beautiful.
until the activations came, and then it wasn't kind of needed anymore.
I see.
And the words that I got for this after working with it for some time was crystal light. And that's like the name of the frequency.
Crystal light. I like
So I
that.
can,
Yeah.
yeah, crystal light. So the energies, the light is very crystalline in its nature, but it also connects to the crystal grid as well of the earth. So it's like you're receiving the light energy, the crystal light that's coming down from above, and also earth's energy is coming up through your feet. And it helps to activate our crystalline light body. So as our bodies are changing, and we as humans are strongly evolving at the moment,
Right.
and we are becoming more light, so it activates our crystalline light body, but it also activates our new geometries as well,
Right.
because the geometries of our bodies is changing and upgrading too.
Right.
And I feel it's creating these crystalline pathways that are a bit like meridians. I see them as being meridians, but they're new ones. So they're new lines of energy. And this, because I've done crystal grids for a long time, and I don't know how well you can see that, but that was a crystal grid that I did because I knew there was a lot of geometry relating to the crystal grid.
Uh-huh.
And although I can kind of see it, that was the first one that I actually put dots on all the crystals and lined it all up.
Oh, yeah.
So those energy lines are creating shapes. They're creating really quite complex geometry. And obviously that's flat on a page,
Right.
but in actuality, it's coming out. It's three-dimensional, and it's going down into the earth, and it's coming this way. And when you mentioned that I move my hands a lot in activations, some of that is creating geometry. The light language itself holds geometry. So it's creating very complex geometries. some of which I see sometimes, and they can be a bit like snowflakes,
Oh,
but more complex. So, and quite fractaline or fractaloid. I don't know what the word would be for that.
whatever. It's fractal.
Yeah. So if you were to zoom in, say on one of the lines, then there would be complex geometry on that line as well, and you could zoom into that and it would be complex geometry as
Wow.
well.
Yeah. So it goes down. It's micro and macro.
Yeah.
They're all the same pattern. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
And it's
I love that idea. And I love the idea that we would have more way. I see our upgrade as a note. I see our DNA
yes.
as a note,
Yeah.
and that sound and light are the fastest way to heal and to shift.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing a lot of in my world, I'm kind of seeing it as toning and refining the chord
Yeah. Yeah.
that you are.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that as well, because I almost feel I can hear the body sometimes. Like I can't, but I know that's something that we'll be moving into. I feel that our senses are just refining, and we are going to be developing new senses. Our hands, for example, my hands have always been really sensitive, and it's how I felt energy more than
Both
seeing it.
hands or just one? Both?
Both.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So my right hand is
Right.
more than my left. Interesting.
I
Okay.
I give and receive with both, actually.
Yeah.
Um, and I probably feel more with my right hand than my
Uh-huh.
left, but I do feel with both, and I give energy through both of them as well. But there's other areas of the body that I think are becoming more sensitive too. Um, with some people that we kind of weave energy together. There's a group of us who have a messenger thread, and we were doing an activation one night, and I was very aware of activating gills here, like a
Oh,
dragon, like the bearded dragon or the frill neck dragon, I think they might be
okay.
called. That was also like a new sensory thing. I think
Wow.
our feet are becoming more sensory as well, and our hands. And I don't know what else, but I know that we're going to be picking up way more
Wow.
in our
So,
sensitivity.
I feel like my hearing has. I always have heard. That's part of I see and hear, but
Yeah.
my hearing has been wild. And the downloads are high pitched,
Yes.
very different energy. And I'll wake up and go, oh, here we go. And I, at first, I used to, 20 years ago, I used to say, could you please slow down? I can't understand.
Yeah.
And then I finally went, okay, they're not going to slow down. It's a package. It's a
Yeah.
package. I just have to
Yeah.
unpack it and be patient to unpack it. Right.
And interesting you say that. So within that that you
Yeah.
might hear in your ears, it's because it's quantum. There's a whole heap of information in there
Right.
that is compacted. It's like put into that small space.
Well,
And
I've
when
been getting those since I was a little girl.
yeah,
So that's that. But I remember, going through all different healing modalities, trying to figure out how I know things.
yeah,
You try to make yourself normal and figure out what is like. I remember the energy from crystals have always. I make jewelry just as a hobby, and I get high making the jewelry.
yeah, I
It's
get
like I
that.
don't need to drink alcohol. I don't. I just play with my crystals and I'm
Yeah.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
when I first was attuned to Reiki and I'd hold a crystal, I could feel the energy going down my arm, and then I'd like, am I imagining that? I'd put it down and it would stop. I'd pick it up and I would feel it again.
ah, well, what about the symbols in Reiki? Because you're kind of the artwork that you're doing and the symbol and the mudra hand. Because
Yeah,
that I mean, it's mesmerizing watching you. I hope we get to show people how you do it. But it's mesmerizing watching this, and then the tones kind of do it's almost like the music is a balance and this is the delivery system. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, and it's like many streams are coming through at once.
Right.
And I can feel that when I speak light language. Some people call it different dialects, because I guess that's the nearest word that we have for it.
Oh,
It's different frequencies of energy. Um, and I guess because I've been doing this for for so long now, and I've done such a lot of work on myself, it's like as if we have a tube down the middle that the energy can come through.
right.
And the more work you do on yourself and the less negative energy you hold, the more space there is for light. And over the years, I've done a lot of work on myself. Like,
Me too.
I've done Reiki on myself I think pretty much every day,
Me too.
at least some. Often when I wake up in the morning, even if it's only a little. So you're constantly working on yourself and shedding a lot of that negative energy. So there's more space for the light to come through. So it feels like there's many streams coming through at the same time, but one might be more at the forefront than the others. So you might hear more, but it can change. The frequency of energy can change even within a word.
Right. Right.
And what I'm doing with my hands is another frequency of energy, and maybe it's two. Actually, I think it's more as well. I had the feeling that it was almost like there's a different frequency coming through each finger.
Oh, wow.
Some of it is mudra, as you say.
Well, that's what
Um,
it looks like, but I'm not sure that, I mean, it doesn't look like that you're doing that. It looks like, but I recognize the frequency and it affected me right away.
yeah,
Right away. There was a recognition of, oh, this is really cool.
yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So the written codes as well. They started, as I say, I've been doing it in the air for a long time, but actually only started putting them on paper in, I think it was 2018. I think it was either, yeah, it must have been 18. And then I started mirroring them. So the ones that I do for other people are generally quite small. I must
Okay.
post this to you actually.
Okay.
You'll have to give me your address. So that's the size of them. So it's
Oh, wonderful. Well, should I show it here?
yeah,
I've
yeah.
got it here.
Yeah, so it's missing a little bit of it. It's cutting a bit
Oh,
off.
okay.
It does give you the idea. So all those symbols hold energy, and again, they're not flat on the page. It's moving. Not only is it three dimensional, but it's moving as well, and it's like a grid of energy that is then in your aura, bringing all these frequencies in and activating what needs to be activated.
Okay.
And it can be different at different times. There's different layers, there's different levels. So if you look at it after a few weeks, you're going to receive another activation
Oh, that
as
makes sense.
well.
Because
So these
it's
can
a
be
lot.
picked
It's a
up.
lot. It's a lot. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
doing.
and when you feel them, like you can feel the energy off them.
So do
So
you interpret what it means too, or is it
not really.
okay?
And the same with I feel there could be many, many interpretations. There are some symbols that seem to me to be balanced masculine and feminine.
Uh-huh.
So often, like the wavy lines to me feel more feminine, the spiky ones more masculine. I didn't actually do that in yours.
I
There's,
got
there's
both spikies and wavies, and I got a crown. I got my little
yes,
crown on top,
yeah,
which
and
I do have a crown now. Tamara Ovi had sent me a crown because I'm supposedly the queen of illumination illuminations of light. So supposedly, I don't know. It's fun. So
and
should I
it's
share some more of these?
yeah.
Okay, because and do you have a preference which I show
No,
next?
no,
Okay.
whatever comes up,
They're all beautiful. Okay, you
and they
want
all
to
can.
speak to this one?
Yeah, so that one is a square one, so you can see it's chopped a little bit off it.
Okay.
Um, Now this one was a very uncomfortable one to birth. So this is a unity. It's a unity code. So while this was coming through and I was drawing it, often you hold the opposite frequency. So I was holding a lot of separation.
Oh,
And when I was drawing that one, I didn't like it. Nothing went together on it. I was just, so many times I was like, that line's not in the right place. And the guidance was, no, that line is in the right place. But it didn't match up in the way mine normally do. But once I mirrored it, the parts of it that I didn't like that looks like it's three-dimensional. It looks
yes,
like
it does.
it's going into the distance. And that was what I didn't like about it when it was being drawn, because normally things are quite together and
More
balanced.
symmetrical or
Yeah,
more
yeah,
a different pattern.
yeah. And down at the bottom, I love doing those. So the bit that's chopped off kind of left and right of center, those feel very Arcturian, and it's almost like circuit boards as well.
I
It's like
love it.
connecting,
Yeah, I love
connecting
this one. I love
connection.
the blue in it and everything. I
Yeah,
love the light from the top. So
yeah,
so this is actually a mirrored image
yeah,
of, uh, but when you mirrored it, did it come alive then? I
yes,
mean, but you felt it while you were doing it,
yeah,
even the half of it.
yeah. Once I'd done it, I quite liked that code, but for me, and it took me weeks and weeks and weeks to do. And it was uncomfortable as it was coming through. It was like I was holding all this distortion. But once it was finished, I quite liked it. And I like the way that I can kind of turn it many different ways as well. And
Oh,
sometimes there's a definite, like yours has got a top and bottom to it. Um, Actually, yours looks quite good upside down as well. That's the
oh,
first
okay.
time I've turned it upside down.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
but
see, I
yeah,
don't know. I'm not looking at these like with an artist critical eye.
yeah,
I'm just feeling them,
yes,
and they're beautiful, and they are supportive.
yeah,
They feel like they would be like a loving friend to
yeah,
have around, just like a crystal that you might
yeah,
prefer. That, but I think they're an activation.
yes,
So there's a whole bunch of layers, whereas the crystal holds a frequency
yeah,
that's a tool for you to get back in your heart or get grounded or whatever, or like pyrite, it protects you. But
yeah,
these are upgrades.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's not going to be the same upgrade for everybody.
Right,
And
that's what's so cool.
yeah,
But
and it's
you
whatever you're
didn't do
ready
this
for.
one for someone. You did this one just you were told to bring it through
Yeah,
for everybody.
yeah. There's a lot of codes, a lot of work that I do that's kind of service work. So this was a collective one. So this is like a unity consciousness template.
That's beautiful.
And this is one of my favorite codes. Like I love this code. I really,
Okay.
really,
Okay,
yeah.
well, I'm going to keep going because
Hmm.
we got to, let's see. I've got a lot of cool ones to show. Okay, this one.
Now this one, it's a shame you can't see all of it. I'm going to just grab it from the wall actually, because I'm going to,
So what
so
is it like sitting with all of these in your room? Do you feel them a lot?
yes.
Yeah.
And
I,
this
I
one,
have other ones from other people here
yeah,
that I mean, I think that's part of why people come in this room and go, what is
yeah,
going on in here?
yeah,
But it feels so good. It's so supportive.
yes. Yeah, so this one was the last one. I drew some codes for Todd Medina and Morgan and the Solargy Network.
Okay.
And I was guided that these were superabundance codes. Um, and this was the last one. I didn't realize it was going to be the last one. I thought it was going to be the fifth. There were 6 codes that came out of
Oh,
the original code, and lots of these behind me. That one, and that one are all part of that as well.
okay.
And I'll just mention here, because I don't think I have yet, I am going to be selling the original. And I've never sold any of my originals before. Like I do personal codes for people, but I've never actually sold one of the originals. So I am going to sell it. And the original holds, you know, like your broccoli sprouts hold all the energy and all the goodness that the broccoli is going to grow into.
Right,
I
right.
feel that with the code, it holds all the other, you know, it
Wow.
holds this and all the others. So this one's kind of like a creation story. So
Oh,
you've got a grail there,
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and you've got the light at the top. This to me is feminine and this is masculine, and you've got it on both sides.
Okay.
And then this is a dragon,
Oh, wow, it is.
and it's got the fire there around the throat.
Uh-huh.
The heart is a diamond heart. I work with the diamond light codes, and that's like an octahedron that's spinning, and it's a naked heart. Like those are the ribs, and they're open
I
because
see.
it's so full of love. No
Beautiful.
protection is needed. This is a bit like an egg.
Okay.
And then this bit, to me, represents life, particularly animal life on Earth. So you've got two eyes there or two eyes there, depending how you look at it, and a bit of a head.
Ah, that's like those tree. Didn't you have tree pictures or
Yes.
stone pictures that you could see these kind of beings in
Yeah.
all of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the Grail, when it's upside down, becomes the whale tail as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Because I couldn't decide which way up to do this. And then I put them together and I was like, whoa. So it's
Wow.
kind of like creation story coming from the dragon, because my feeling is that the dragon was the first being that was created, and all
Oh,
life has come from dragon, and that we hold dragon DNA as well.
wow. That's
Um,
interesting.
mm.
Okay, so I'm gonna close that one in because we've got
And the
this.
diamond light codes are important to me as well. You know, it's linked to the 22, and I don't know too much about this, but it's linked to the 22 galaxies that look like a diamond, and the octahedron, which to me, when I think diamond, I'm not just thinking, you know, the carbon diamond, the actual diamond. It's that diamond shape, which is two four-sided pyramids held together base to
Right,
base.
right.
And that has been important to me, that octahedron energy, for a long time. I
Okay.
found myself drawing an octahedron around myself for a
Oh,
long time before I even knew that it was
instead of a
significant.
Merkaba.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but the Merkaba's two three-sided pyramids. So
Right.
it's, yeah, they're
Well,
linked.
that's transportation.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one that actually looks like those beings that were in the trees in the rocks.
Yes.
Those rock was that in England or Ireland? That
Scotland. Well,
Scotland.
it's the Isle of Lewis. So it's they're called the Callanish stones, and they are on the Isle of Lewis, and they're the oldest stones in the UK. And when I mirrored those, like the beings that
Oh,
came
they were
through on that,
amazing.
it was ridiculous.
I
And I
shared them
drew them.
all over Facebook. I
Yeah,
I was so impressed with that,
yeah,
and it felt so um it was like
yeah,
recognize
yeah,
that there's everything's alive,
yeah.
everything has a personality, a being. So Joanne Palladino showed up here and she does light language too, so this will be interesting. So we are gonna we're an hour in right now,
Oh
so
wow.
yeah, I know this is fun. But if you'd like, could you explain this one and then maybe we
Yeah.
do a process and
Uh-huh.
make sure everybody knows how to contact you? I don't want to cut you off, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So this was a sunset. It was either sunrise or a sunset, and
Wow.
and that's what came through. And this set of six were really powerful. But yeah, that's just from the clouds.
And do you have a feeling of that, who that is?
No,
You don't have to name it.
yeah, no, just yeah. But you can feel the
Oh,
energy
they're
of this.
amazing.
Yeah,
They're amazing. So I hope everyone that's on here and we'll see this later, and we'll see it on YouTube. I'll put all the contact information so you can follow Denise. She also does a lovely show like this with people that are enchanting on Facebook as well. So I think you'll be glad that you have been introduced to her as a resource. And this work is life-changing. It's truly an upgrade, a painless upgrade. There's no reason to suffer to have these upgrades. That between the art and your work, your Reiki combination, light language combination, whatever the hand thing we're going to call it, but working with this level of light is quite amazing. But do you want to give us a little sample? So do you mind doing that?
No, I'd love to.
Okay.
And I'll just mention that if people would like the crystal light attunement, it's like a Reiki. It includes a Reiki attunement as well, but it also includes this crystal light frequency. So if people are interested in self-healing, afterwards they can really bring the energy, and it activates your hands as well so that the energy comes through. So if people are interested in that, to let me know as well. And that might be something that I might put on a group session of that.
Oh, that would be great. I'd love to do that too.
Brilliant.
And you guys, you can get your own personal art work that's an activation sheet. That this one that I showed before is the one that Denise was kind enough to make for me. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to get, but I look for well, I'm so open to this. Anything to release the blocks to holding more light. That's as fast and as with ease and grace as possible.
Yeah. And I feel that's coming in more. I think a lot of us that have done all this work already, I think it's been harder for us than it will be for people in the future. I feel that ease and grace is coming. And I know that, you kind of up and then you land with a bump sometimes, but I feel it's been harder for those of us that have been doing the work so far than
Well,
it will in the
I
future.
think it's the bump is when you start to go back in your past.
Yeah.
At least for me, if I stay in the present and get excited and put that together, I'm okay. But it's almost, and we're in an election year here. And instead of everyone 2020, yay, if we made it and let's see what we can co-create together, there's so much. It's not. It's disgusting, actually. I mean, it's actually part of the design to keep us from our gifts, as far as I can see. So that's why I want as many people to, I mean, there's people that are following this, a lot of them are small business owners and they don't have time to find resources.
Yeah.
And the resource that you're offering is so beautiful, Denise. Thank you so much.
And I'm doing something with Sahara Celestial as well on Monday for the moon. So if anyone's interested in that, just write
For
that
the
in the
full
comments
moon.
as well. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll put a link. We'll make sure we get a link and do that before I share this.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can do to get more people on that.
Or I can put it in the comments as well. I can put the event in the comments.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention those before I start because I'll probably forget. I'll probably forget at the end of this. So, and really one of my passions is for people to be more in their heart space as well and living from the heart, making their decisions from the heart. It's life-changing when that happens. So let's all breathe love into our hearts and take a few long and slow deep breaths. And just feeling all of our hearts connecting with the heart of Gaia, with the heart of Creator, with the heart of the Sun. And as we breathe in love, and let's breathe out gratitude, putting those frequencies into our bodies, but also putting them out into the world. Hialero dono kostea. Hiamedlakena kulle eparat ustrukunama ala. He enne kulle hiamput uila. He me leerot ondokulla ana kustia. And just allowing these codes and frequencies into your body. And if you don't feel anything, that's fine. It'll still be working. Hiamelistara anobuglukustara et oik ad adot oya. Hiamelerat on to la adlokuitia. In the medleki la manakudlukust, Helearot unta land ukudleki borat un, Elearado hunti da ayast urat an. And this feels like it's working particularly on the throat and connecting the heart and throat together. So we speak our truth with love. Hiamele oradon kunt waradke east arad an. Hialera onno kulea. Hiamalekille kidu sturla anamakille east. Hole marallo kudla barala kidit east arla ba. Henle magdala kidle barala nukulu kutu wija manakadlekut ut labata. Hanamakille kidla nanamakudla kudula barala kit ut wist. Hanamakille hiamaled eorut tukula. Anamaki hambala kiestoi. Hale kiele eorut Hale orut toto yasta. Henna kille aroto kunna marla kiapa a. Henna. Hiele maratotunsta, ele kila antototoya. Kulerat unstale erat uieta, ebrat ukulek barat anakerlek uist, eleavrat ukunemakerlekia, alamakerle kulle parat ukusta, anamakia, hanukulle etist, hanuku una a, uleabrat un tatatataya tatatasta. So taking a few more long and slow deep breaths, breathing in love, breathing out love. And if your eyes are closed, if you want to keep them closed a little longer, you can, and just start to move your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Give your hands a shake, roll your shoulders, and open your eyes whenever you're ready. And feeling yourself fully present in your physical body, anchored and connected to Earth.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oops.
Thank you for sharing your beautiful work, your art activation codes in this beautiful example. And I hope people will take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to upgrade in a really easy, soft, graceful way with all these energies. If you are struggling with the waves as they come and want to learn how to ride on top instead of somebody just wrote, Harlan wrote Denver, and Joanne Palladino wrote a sister. So I don't know why he wrote Denver, but maybe you usually have to come to visit us.
I would love to come over to the States. Yeah.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We'll have to talk about that some more. But in the meantime, everyone, we do need to sign off. And I just want to make sure that you realize what a beautiful soul Denise is, and that it's a great opportunity before the whole world knows about her. Right now, it would be a privilege to have the support and access to someone that is working at this level of divinity. It's quite amazing. So I hope that, yeah, thank you so much for everything you do. I feel very blessed to know you. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's been really.
Oh yes, of
I've
course.
just talked and talked and talked. You've not been able to get a word in, but thank you very much.
It was perfect. It was perfect. I learned. I learned a lot. Thank you. So we do have to sign off. I've got another appointment. I apologize, but thank you, dear. And we'll talk again soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye.